Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is attempting to block Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's bid to chair the House Oversight Committee. Interesting, because of course she is, right? Now, Pelosi, instead of backing AOC, who would be excellent, she is pushing Representative Jerry Connolly, Democrat of Virginia, to win the high-ranking role, and is actively working to tank AOC's bid while making calls on behalf of Connolly, according to Punchbowl News. Now, the report adds that Pelosi's behind-the-scenes maneuvering displays the sheer amount of political capital she is willing to put into Connolly's campaign, the verdict of which will be decided next week. Whoever takes the committee's top spot will be tasked with the job of closely watching President-elect Donald Trump's upcoming administration. So it is a very important job, very much coveted. Okay, again, over like being able to watch over the Trump administration. Now that would also be a pretty difficult job, right? Which is why I would take AOC over Connolly. Look, I really don't have any issues with Jerry Connolly, honestly. But my, read of this is he's 74 years old, okay, and he's got esophageal cancer. So I would think that at this point in time, he's got a lot more important things to worry about, like, his health, right? And I would rather have someone who can fully commit to chairing a committee that is going to be instrumental in being a watchdog when it comes to the Trump administration, because guarantee they're going to do a lot of shady shit. Okay, so yes, I would definitely prefer AOC here. I do think that both of them probably would end up doing a good job again if Connolly was able to focus on the job. But the question here then is, why is Pelosi trying so hard to block Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? And I think it's because of power. Okay, I definitely think it's power. I think it has a lot to do with the future of the Democratic Party and who the Democratic establishment wants to have these positions of power. Again, this is a pretty important position, as I mentioned before. Very, very high ranking. So the establishment thought is AOC hasn't put in her time yet. See, here's the thing. Democrats have a bit of an age problem. A lot of the leaders are pretty old and have been there for a very, very long time. Some of them are disconnected from any progressive movement. And so the younger progressives that have come in, like members of the squad, AOC, etc., they present a bit of a new guard issue, right? And so they're the vanguard of younger progressive members, and they don't get along with the older, more centristy type of Democrats, okay? Look, there are wonderful young progressive leaders like AOC who have the energy, they have the drive, they have the right policies too, okay, in order to start winning. Like things like Medicare for all, which is very, very important. And so, unfortunately, people like Nancy Pelosi and some of the old guard Democrats who taken a lot of money from insurance companies, lobbyists, etc., they're holding on to power. These are the old liberals. And I'm not saying that they're bad people, okay? But I think they've been in power in office for too long and are disconnected and they're too Washington, they're too Beltway, and they're not really all that far to the left when it comes to issues that matter, especially economic issues, okay? And for Pelosi, people like her are far too worried about seniority, okay? And so that's one of the problems. Now, one of the representatives was asked why they support Jerry Connolly, and basically the answer was seniority. He asked me first, and he's paid his dues. He is a friend and is a thoughtful member of the committee. I have known Jerry a long time. This is Linda Sanchez from California. He served on that committee for 16 years. He is excellent at what he does. All right, so again, it's Jerry's turn, basically. No disrespect to Jerry Connolly, right? Maybe he would do a good job, but I think he's, again, got too many other important things to worry about. And again, I would rather have someone who has the time and the energy to be an effective watchdog against Donald Trump. AOC can do that. She's an effective speaker. I know. That's ironic, right? She's an effective speaker. She's incredibly smart. And she's actually started to figure out how to play politics. All right? Playing politics is not something that the left is good at. I'm going to be very, very honest with that. We do not know how to get power. Okay? And don't necessarily know how to wield it either when we do get it. AOC, though, is learning. And of course, that's why some of the left is mad at her, because, again, she has to, she can't just push the Medicare for all button, okay? She does not have a socialism button in front of her that she can press at any time that will automatically give us everything that we would want, okay? She doesn't do that. She doesn't have that. And one of the funny charges against her is that, she's got that button in front of her, she won't push it. What? No. Look, sometimes when you're trying to build coalitions in order to win, you might have to not, have certain positions that you're on the forefront, okay? You might have to have some of those positions take a back seat until you get a winning majority. In fact, Representative Becca Balint says, we always talk about winning coalitions, but that's really what she's doing, AOC. Like, we're looking at 2026. We have stuff that we want to get done. We're not going to get it done unless we have seats in the House. And that gets me back to the Democrats' old guard problem. There are not enough progressives in office to actually effectively do anything. And you still have people like Nancy Pelosi that have a huge amount of influence among the membership. Look, AOC, she has not stopped being progressive. Has she taken votes and said things that I don't agree with? Yeah, of course. She's a human being. I know, like, there's always this big issue about, like, oh, this person said something that I disagree with. She is no longer a leftist. No longer progressive. Well, hold on here. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that, yes, progressive, it's kind of a wide tent. But here's the thing. She's never stopped believing in Medicare for all, okay? She's never stopped believing in that kind of stuff. Higher wages, a living wage for, working people. She's never stopped believing in those progressive positions that she has had. And yes, I know she has said things that I disagree with. And that happens because you're not always going to 100% agree with every single person in every single position that they have. All right? You can't get 100%. But if you're at 99%, I'll take it. And with AOC, it's 99%. Now, here's the other thing, too. We don't really have the luxury as progressives right now because we have no institutional power to get every single policy that we want. So, yeah, you kind of have to play politics. You have to learn how Washington works in order to try to institute inside change. And look, inside change, you could argue, well, it doesn't work. Well, I think it does, but you also have to have outside pressure. You actually also have to have a political movement that is backing you, that has the power to be able to, for example, win primaries. That's the big thing. Primaries right now are where progressives go to die. Okay? That's where we get stopped every single time, is especially in presidential primaries. But it's not just about presidential primaries. It is about primaries all over the country. It is about running in elections all across the states, all across the country, in order to win not only statewide office, but also congressional offices. And that is a very difficult thing to do. And it is time consuming and it is frustrating because the needs that we have as progressives, we need them now. We need climate action now. We need healthcare now. We need all this stuff now. But the way our system works ensures that, no, we don't get things now. And that's what's frustrating about it. But none of this shows that, none of this is AOC's fault. And none of this is, Bernie Sanders' fault or anybody's fault. Except for, giant corporations and lobbyists. And it definitely is their fault. But it's also the way that the system has been designed from the beginning to be a slow, deliberative process. But here's the thing, though. If we actually do get more progressives and leftists in government and then get them to ascend the ranks, then getting good stuff passed is more likely to happen. But again, you need to get these people into power and into these positions. Now, getting back to AOC in this position, she's got a good chance. She really does. That's why Nancy Pelosi's hair is on fire. She's pulling out all the stops. Both Connolly and AOC have declared that they both believe that they have the votes to win this, according to NBC News. According to Politico, most current Democrats on the Oversight Committee, which is stacked with some of the most liberal, outspoken members of the caucus, are expected to win to back Ocasio-Cortez, according to the dozen members and staffers. Wow. Okay, but the thing is, she will also need to be approved by the steering committee and policy committee. Steering and policy committee, as well as the full caucus. And so that Pelosi, she can definitely influence a lot of people in the full caucus. And so that's the issue. But AOC's got a chance. All right. If she wins, though, and this is why it really matters to Nancy Pelosi. A win by AOC challenges the control that Pelosi has on the party. If she wins, then it shows that Pelosi's power, her hold, is not like it used to be. It's not as ironclad. That means the Democrats could go in a more left populist direction, which I think is a good thing, okay? Because what we need is to do more left economic populism to take on and defeat the right wing. It's very clear now, okay? You look at the results of this election, which was not lost when it came to woke, okay? Or we defended trans people too much. When? Where? Okay? No. It turns out that Kamala Harris and the Democrats ran a very centrist campaign that was, their entire focus here was to try to appeal to conservative, never Trump Republicans in the suburbs. Turns out doing that while ignoring your progressive base, it's not a very viable strategy to win elections. And so the Democratic Party needs a new direction, new leadership, if they actually want to be a competitive party again. To no longer forget the left flank or ignore them, but to actually bring them in and to put progressives in leadership so that we can right the ship that is America and finally defeat the Republican Party. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.